Hey everyone, Caffeine Man here, and welcome to the last episode of my Holland America cruise from Boston to Quebec City. I hope that you've enjoyed this series, as it was my first ever vlog style videos. And although I didn't do all sorts of fun and exciting excursions like a lot of travel channels do, I hope it was still entertaining for you guys to come back for more. Now, where we last left off was day 5 of the cruise in Charlottetown, Nova Scotia. Day 6 was a sea day, so we were on the boat for the entire time. Now, besides eating our normal breakfast, our normal lunch, our 3 p.m. tea time snacks, then having dinner, as well as second dinner. Yes, you eat like hobbits on a cruise ship. We did read books throughout the day and watch a couple of movies, a very low-key day. But we definitely didn't mind because we knew that the next day we were going to be in Quebec City. It was going to be a decent amount of walking. And that brings us to day 7, which was actually an in-port day in Quebec City. It was the 7th day of the cruise. So what this allowed us to do was spend the entire day in Quebec City, but still go back on the ship, have dinner, sleep there, and then the next day disembark. After disembarkation, we also scheduled out 3 additional days in Quebec City, as well as day 7 in Quebec City. And stay tuned to the end for a surprise plot twist. Getting off the ship is a fairly secured area, so walking to the city would take about 30 minutes, but they did provide a tram to drive you out there. Otherwise, you would need to take a long walk around and cross over a bridge, crossing over a river, and so forth. Once getting off the tram, it was a short walk to one of the main streets in Quebec City. The plan for the day was to walk through some of the main roads of the city and get some local food, as well as check out the local stores. We did hear that there were tons of hills to walk up and down, Quebec City being built on a large hilly area, and nothing could really prepare us for the hills that we were about to encounter. No matter where you walked, finding a flat area was rare. You were always walking either up or down, some slopes more than others, some really long upward hills, some really steep downward hills, and they were just everywhere. That being said, the city is an absolutely beautiful city. There are a lot of cobblestone roads, and just about every building is made of either brick or some sort of rock blocks, cinder blocks? I don't know the proper terminology, but they all had a nice, solid, and old look to them. Even the signage and storefronts of pretty much every building were very elegant, very detailed, and had an ornate, classic look to them. The streets were very busy, and being a travel destination of many, lots of tourists lined the streets and fill up the restaurants. We were up and out a little early, maybe by 10 a.m., so it wasn't too busy, but as the day went on, you were always walking in a group of people. Oh look, a McDonald's! We almost stopped in for a Royale with cheese, but since we had lunch plans at a burger restaurant, we had to pass. As you can see, some of the roads are so full of tourists, they have the streets actually closed off to vehicles just to accommodate all the people. The restaurant we were going to was one that we looked up online, and it was listed as one of the top 5 burger restaurants in Quebec City, so how could you not go there? It is called Les Trois Garçons, meaning the 3 boys. Not too far off from Five Guys. And as a side note, if you haven't watched any of the other videos, I will most likely pronounce every single thing in French wrong. And although the name isn't too far from Five Guys, the prices, well yeah, they were quite far off from the prices of Five Guys. Being hungry after all of the walking, we decided to start off with some chili, kind of fancy chili, but well worth it. The flavor was amazing, and it was actually a beanless chili, so mostly meat, and a lot of the restaurants use fresh ingredients from local markets, supporting their local community. Now, this definitely wouldn't be considered a large portion for a bowl in the US, but the US usually has larger portions in general than most places, so we didn't mind this size bowl because the flavor was really good, and we still had our meal to go. My wife ordered the Charlevoix because she was interested in the 1608 cheese. We actually looked it up on our phone and found out that the 1608 cheese is an artisan cheese with a smooth, melt-in-your-mouth, deep yellow pâté. Delicate yet complex buttery flavor with a hint of green apples and a hazelnut end note. Sounds pretty intriguing to me. As intriguing as it was and as large as the burgers looked in the picture, they were just 5-ounce burgers and they didn't ask us how we wanted them cooked, so they came out medium well, and we prefer rare to medium rare. My wife rated her burger an 8 because it was really good, but we were honestly expecting a 9 or 10. The fries were also good at an 8. As for me, I got the Quebec. I didn't want to just get a typical American or US type burger, so when in Quebec, get the Quebec. As interesting as maple and rosemary mayonnaise sounded, it didn't taste as good on a burger, and even though the bacon jam was a bit unique, making for a unique burger altogether, not really something that was up my alley. I'd give it a 7 because it was good, but I kind of blame myself for not trying something more traditional. But once again, when in Quebec, how was I really supposed to know? Overall, we were expecting something a bit better from a top 5 burger place, and given the prices that we paid, we were left a little bit unsatisfied. It is also good to point out that in most places in Quebec City, these were the normal prices. Every restaurant was overpriced, and even though some of it is due to inflation, like prices skyrocketing in the US for food, it is mostly because it is a touristy area. If you look online for restaurants outside of Quebec City, there are more reasonably priced restaurants, but we weren't there, so everything was high wherever we were. From there, we decided to just continue walking through the town, seeing the shops, looking for interesting and unique things, and just enjoying the scenery. So much amazing stonework. There is a lot of history behind this city, but I'll let the other travel channels cover that because personally, I've never really been much of a history buff, and all of my vacations are usually heavily oriented around food. They were also setting up for the Quebec City Film Festival, but nothing was going on at the time that we were there. Now we are approaching a heavily populated area for tourists because we are near the Fairmont Hotel, one of the larger hotels in North America, but definitely the most elegant, beautiful, and well-maintained luxury hotel in all of Canada, with the most historical events tied around it, which once again, you can look up on your own if interested. Not only is it fancy and have amazing architecture, it also gives you a great view of Lower Quebec City, and across the St. Lawrence River, you can also find Levi's. They got jeans there? Is this where jeans were made? Oh, Levi's. You can find the city of Levi's, and there is even a ferry that will take you over there so that you can actually get a good view of Quebec City and the Fairmont Hotel from the distance. They also have a fununcular. They have one of those things that will take you down to Lower Quebec City, and more specifically La Petite Champlain, which is where we are actually going to explore in more detail tomorrow. Now, being a heavily touristy area, there are tons of excursions that will do tours of Quebec City that you can purchase through a cruise ship or even through tons of third-party services. But if you're looking to save money, just find someone that's holding a flag. These tour companies use these flags so that the group on tour won't get lost. Therefore, if you are part of one of these groups, you know to follow the person with the yellow flag or the blue flag or the green flag, and all you need to do is travel nearby them and follow their flag. No charge. And with so many people around, they'll never know that you're freeloading off of them. For disembarkation day, we disembarked at the latest time possible, knowing that check-in at the hotel wasn't until 4 p.m. They said that they can sometimes do early check-in at 11 a.m., but no guarantees. And although we thought disembarkation was at 11 a.m., they were trying to kick everyone off the ship before 10 a.m., and we were off the ship by 9:30. We took an Uber to the hotel to drop off our luggage with the bellhop, then decided to check out a somewhat local convenience store to see what energy drinks they have, as well as pass the time until check-in. It was weird because it was Saturday morning and nobody was out. I mean, the roads were clear of people, and we thought we were in some apocalyptic movie where the few survivors were just hiding in their houses. Nobody was out. The convenience store that we went to was called Couche-Tard and had a decent selection of energy drinks. I even picked up some to review, which I probably already uploaded, so you already saw them. Something we didn't know was that they don't give out bags at some stores, or maybe just to us because we're stupid Americans. But I gotta say, we felt very unwelcome in Quebec City. We just got a really mean feeling from all of the people that work there. The guy at checkout was grumpy. I mean, I guess similar to US store workers, a lot of grumpy workers here too. But when I asked for a bag, he looked me straight in the eye as if he was getting ready to strangle me and said in a deep, angry voice, "No." We were lucky that we actually had our backpack with us, so we put the drinks in our backpack. I mean, how do you have a fairly large convenience store and not have bags? Do you just expect people to buy one item at a time, or are we just supposed to bring our own bags? So I just tried the cucumber lime, which I thought was going to be just like the limon pepino that we have in the US, but it's very, very different. It's actually, it's a little less sweet than the Rockstar in the US, limon pepino, and it actually has a lot more cucumber forward. The other one in the US had a little bit more lime to it, and this is much more of a cucumber drink with like a hint of lime to it. So very, very different, the limon pepino compared to the cucumber lime in Canada. And if I had to compare it to the limon pepino, which one I like more, I actually like the limon pepino just a little bit more because it is a little bit sweeter, and for some reason I do like that lime just a little bit more than a heavy cucumber flavor. 160 milligrams of caffeine, a Rockstar Pure Zero Cucumber Lime. We dropped off our bag with the drinks at the hotel, which was the Concord Hotel, and went to see if maybe we could check in early, and with a blank stare, the woman at the front desk said, "No." Then another 2 to 3 second stare before saying, "Later than that." Without knowing how much later that was, we headed out to another place we wanted to check out, and my wife was not happy when she saw these stairs that we had to go down. Steep stairs. At least we didn't have to go up the stairs. I tried to convince her happily. The entire walk was downhill though, which I think is beneficial because it was about a mile away. We had a pretty good idea that we would not be walking back to the hotel. We hit the downtown area and found the bakery that we were looking for. I had heard several good things about this bakery and definitely wanted to check it out. Besides pastries, they also had sandwiches, but being around 11 a.m., we decided to check out the pastries. I was specifically looking for something that I had heard of called the Cruffin. It is a cross between a croissant and a muffin. They had a lemon one and also an apple one, so I decided to grab the apple one, which also had some maple crunchies on top. It was definitely unique and very good if you're a fan of croissants. It was much more of a croissant than a muffin. The only real difference is that it was a touch more dense than a regular light croissant and made in the shape of a muffin. I'd rate it a 7 and would definitely try something else if we were to go back there because everything looked absolutely amazing. We Ubered back to the hotel and they let us know that it was going to be closer to 2 p.m. to check in. As slightly annoyed as we were, it's hard to be mad when the official check-in is 4 p.m. and we knew that, so we kept our attitudes in check. And the plan for the day was to go see Petite Champlain, so rather than waiting around to check in, we just decided to go right there since they were already holding our luggage for us and our bags. We left through the back door to check out the Plains of Abraham, a very large park with historical origins. Then we hit the main road to see a lot more beautiful architecture and take in the sights on the way to Petite Champlain. This was the beginning of the downhill walk to Petite Champlain. Which leads to another large stairway going down. This is probably one of the second largest free tourist attractions and a must-see in Quebec City, with the Fairmont being the first must-see, which also isn't far away from here. This is one of the most popular shopping areas and places to eat. We checked out a lot of the storefront windows, and it was difficult to get good footage for you guys with so many people, but I tried. We did find the police patrolling the streets and decided to follow them because, I don't know, why not? Another picturesque street hangs umbrellas above the street, different colors for different seasons or events. This led to our lunch destination, Sapristi. Once again, we had done a lot of research for food in the area, and we couldn't pass up a chance to try their pizza. Well, also these nachos. With everything we had been eating made from fresh local ingredients, these nachos were pretty amazing. I'd say they were an 8.5. For the pizzas, I got the 4 cheese pizza, which may seem pretty basic, but I love cheese and I love the 4 cheeses that they put on it. Plus, since we got 2 pizzas, I let my wife get the specialty pizza and we shared. My wife said her pizza was a great specialty pizza, being an 8 out of 10. It had prosciutto, Parmesan cheese, mozzarella, and arugula. Although it was very flavorful, my 4 cheese pizza was amazing. It had mozzarella, Parmesan, 1608 cheese, and ricotta. The sauce was great and the crust was very flavorful. I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10 and definitely recommend trying this restaurant if you are in Petite Champlain. After checking out Petite Champlain, it was time to head back. We couldn't help but take a lot of videos and pictures of the most photographed hotel in North America, but I'll save you all those pictures since it's all been done before and all over the internet since it is the most photographed hotel. We had to take the funicular back though. I mean, guys, look, it has fun right in the name. Come on now, how could you not? Then it was back to the hotel to finally check in, and it is also time for a room tour. Yeah, the room tour. Well, first a look from the 22nd floor in the hallway and the Fairmount. I mean, come on, look at that thing. How could you not take a video of that? And we are here on the 22nd floor of the Concorde. Little room tour. Here is the bathroom. Much bigger than the bathroom that we just had on the cruise. Hello. As to be expected, really. It looks like a California king, or even bigger than a king. That is a big bed. TV, desk, little sitting area, and a very, very, very big window. Very big window. Overlooking the St. Lawrence River. For breakfast, we went to the Hotel Restaurant, which is actually a chain in Quebec City. I wasn't very happy with the omelet at all. A little too fancy. The flavor was extremely different and way too many peppers on it. The hash browns were good and the bread was very fresh. My wife got this combo breakfast, and although they skimped on the fruit compared to all the other pictures, she gave it a 9 out of 10 and made sure that I tasted it out too so that we could agree that it was a 9 and I definitely got the wrong meal. Hey guys, I am here with an extended version of the hotel. I know some people were curious about the Concorde. It is one of the taller hotels in Quebec City, but it also is known for its round circular room upstairs. Actually, there's a restaurant up there, and it gives you a panoramic view of all of Quebec City. But when we walked in, we were very impressed with the room, and I didn't want you guys to think, oh wow, that Caffeine man, he must be super rich, because this was actually one of the cheaper hotels. It wasn't the cheapest, but we wanted something that was actually close to Quebec City, Old Quebec City. So we're about a mile out from Old Quebec City, so we can walk there if we choose to, or if we want to Uber down there, it won't cost too much money. But this was actually a reasonably priced hotel. We did keep an eye on Expedia for the price to go down, as we always do when we're researching for our vacations, always looking for the best price. But for more in-depth, detailed view, you cannot always judge a book by its cover. Not to say that it's a bad hotel, it's a very, very nice hotel. So let's go through and let me show you some of the things that I saw in the room. Obviously, you saw the wonderful view that we have, and then if you do look a bit closer, you'll see that all of the hard surfaces are actually just made out of Formica. And if you zoom in, you'll be able to see that there are lots of cracks and pieces broken off in lots of different places. And even this cool little table that we saw when we first came in, very modern, when you turn it around, you do see that this thing is just scraped up beyond all belief, but it is definitely dinged up, scratched, and even the corners are broken off. As we continue on to the air conditioning system, like I said, the air conditioner works very well. It actually got pretty cool in here within about 45 minutes or so. But as you can see, the way they had it installed, whatever was installed there before, they had to cut out a piece of countertop. As we move on to the table, we actually see that this is also Formica covered, and it is actually very cheap, and it also has lots of pieces broken off of it. And even the chair looked like it was a really cool chair at one point, but it is very, very worn with age, with scratches and bumps and bruises pretty much everywhere on there. When we go over to the fridge area and the counter area, once again, everything is pretty much broken off of there. And even the drawers are cheaply made when you try to open them up. And pretty much all of the furniture was made to match each other, but is all relatively cheap furniture, and pretty much each and every piece has chips and pieces taken off of it. The lighting in the room is also very odd. If you were hoping for a very brightly lit room, you do get the light from the outside, from the huge windows, but if you don't have the windows, there is this very, very dim light up the top right here that doesn't really light up much at all. It seems like it might be like a 15-watt bulb. There are actually no lights on the ceiling at all, anywhere. So the only light that you get is this one light that they have next to the couch, which is somewhat bright, but as you can tell, we have a very large room. You do also get the lights that are by the bed, but once again, these are much more reading lights that you have. What is very, very nice is that if you go closer, they actually have a charging station. So you can put your phone right on there and charge it. It also has a USB plug here in case you don't have the type of phone that charges that way. As I mentioned, they did give us a California King. The pills are extremely fluffy. They are I believe they're down. And when we first sat on the bed and laid in the bed, we're like, wow, this is really bouncy. It's a very bouncy bed, but as you start to lay in it, it is actually fairly firm. So even though it does have some bounce, it is fairly firm. And to be honest, my wife and I, our backs are just a little bit sore, and we didn't get that great of a sleep from it. Take a look at the floors. The floors are actually really nice floors. But in certain spots, especially right here next to the bed, if you're gonna be getting out of bed, there is this big, huge space right there. And all they gotta do is they gotta take this piece and they just gotta move it like a little bit over, because it's okay to have the space over there. I mean, obviously, you don't wanna have the space over there in general, just for general looks, but you really don't wanna have this space right in the middle of the floor, right where you're gonna be getting out of bed and walking, because you could just stub your toe on that. The room is functional for what we need. We actually have no complaints about it, except the bed was a little bit harder than we would like. But when we go on vacation, we usually try to look for a cheaper room just because we're only going to use it for sleep. We really don't overly care about the view. We don't care about the furniture. We don't really care about anything because when we're on vacation, we're mostly going to be doing vacationing stuff. And we did get a very good sized room. Everything is very comfortable. So besides the presentation of it, we really don't have many complaints about the room at all, especially given the price that we were able to get for it. For dinner, we went to someplace right around the corner from the hotel. There had to be over a dozen restaurants to choose from on this street, and we chose this one because we weren't really looking for anything fancy. The waitress had the same friendliness as every other worker there who found out we were American. A big smile and welcome on their face when they got to the table, but when we spoke English, a stern face with all the happiness drained from their soul. We ordered some chili as an appetizer. I ordered the double burger, and my wife got a ham and cheese grilled cheese. After we placed our order, the waitress informed us that we could not have the chili as an appetizer. When we asked her why not, she just said the chef doesn't allow that and walked away. The chili was good nonetheless at an 8.5. The burger was okay at a 7.5, and the grilled ham and cheese was an 8. Fries were well seasoned and also an 8. Overall, a satisfying meal with unfriendly service. Now, I don't really have any video of the next day. It was a highly anticipated day as we planned to go to a Nordic spa. I had never been to a spa before and really never had any desire to go to a US spa. But Canada has Nordic spas, which are very different. Everything is outdoor and in the wilderness, and we went to a place called Siberia Spa. If you feel like checking out their website, we spent 4 hours there just relaxing our legs and our body after all the walking up and down hill of Quebec City. It was very, very much needed. Also, the prices were much cheaper than the US, so we could hardly pass up this opportunity to try it out. We also needed to be refreshed for the next day because one of our only excursions, our biggest excursion in Quebec City, was planned for that day, and it is an excursion to Montmorency Falls and in Les Orleans. What's that mean? Well, we will be picked up at the hotel and then we will go to see Montmorency Falls, which is actually taller than Niagara Falls. While there, we're going to take a famous cable car to the top of the falls for an impressive sight of the Quebec region. After that, we're going to stop and try the ciders from Domaine Steinbach, as well as learn about the ciders that they make there, and take pictures of the magical views. We'll also be going to Domaine Saint-Famille, which is a vineyard that we'll get to tour, as well as sample some of the wine and taste some of the local products. From there, it's Le Fromage des Isles de l'Orleans. Yeah, man, I'm really murdering these French things, sorry. It's a cheese dairy where they make cheese. I don't think I've ever been to a place that makes its own cheese, so we're actually going to be able to learn about how cheese is made, but more importantly, sample out one of my favorite foods, cheese. There is also the Isle de Bacchus Winery, where we will taste wines produced from the Isle of d'Orleans, as well as look around their orchard that overlooks the St. Lawrence River. We hear it is a must-see destination. And what amazing tour wouldn't be completed by hitting a chocolate factory? We will be going to the Chocolatier des Îles d'Orleans, where we can see how chocolate is made and stop by the store to eat some of the delicious chocolate. And that is the day that we have planned, so let's stop talking about it and let's just go see it all. We're done. We're done. Quote from Balin, not Caffeine Man. Hey guys, Caffeine Man here, and we are done. And we are not like done as in we're at the end of the trip technically, but we are at the end of the trip. We had an excursion planned today that we were very excited about, but as our other excursions and most of the week has gone, it is actually raining here, so they called us up to find out if we wanted to cancel. So we decided to cancel the excursion, and our flight was supposed to leave tomorrow night at some point, and we're like, well, what are we going to spend the day here doing? Probably just spending money on expensive food and what we spent tomorrow doing. So we canceled our flight for tomorrow. We're actually flying out today. So rather than having today and tomorrow in Quebec City, we're actually leaving today. I will probably wrap up everything in this video. It was supposed to be 4 days because we were going to have 4 days in Quebec, but it looks like we only have 2 days in Quebec because we are actually leaving early. We're going home. We're gonna get Presley. Hopefully I'll actually show you a video, if we remember to take one, of Presley's reaction to seeing us. This is the first time we've been on vacation. and been away from her for so long. She hasn't seen us for a long time. She has been in doggy daycare with some other dogs, housed, boarded with somebody else, so she's not like in a cage or anything like that. We actually were able to bring her crate with her for sleeping. But whenever she's not sleeping, she's out and about with other dogs. So hopefully she's doing well. We're very excited to see her, and I will see you guys whenever I see you guys. I hope you enjoyed the series that I did, and I will tell you a little bit more. I'll probably do a closing up of just I don't know how to close these videos. So goodbye. What can I say? Our vacation was a roller coaster of emotions from start to finish. If you watch this series from day one, you'll know that we definitely started off a little rocky, got a little bit better, had some other rocky areas, resolved some of the issues that we had, but we pushed through things, tried to make things work, definitely tried out some new things. But when all was said and done, we didn't really get to accomplish all the things that we wanted to do or see. And not that we didn't get to see nearly all of them, we didn't even get to really see half of them because the weather really didn't cooperate with us. Then to end things off, our biggest excursion was canceled. But the one thing that I kept in mind and tried to keep reminding my wife of was that we weren't actually working. We had a lot of time to relax. We got to read some good books, we got to watch a few movies, we got to eat lots of great food, and we definitely got to see the sights. Even though the weather didn't cooperate, that can happen to anyone on vacation, and you just need to find a way to persevere. Was it our best vacation? Not even close. Was it our worst vacation? Well, we were a bit let down, but we have had worse vacations, probably one, maybe two, that were worse than this one. But we were also happy that we didn't actually have more excursion plans only to get canceled, because you don't always get refunded if they decide to keep the excursion going. If it rained, you just lose out on the money if you didn't go. So one final time, I hope you enjoyed this series of my Holland America cruise from Boston to Quebec with a few extra days in Quebec City. I am glad that you guys are able to join in with me, suffer through my pains, and also enjoy the heights of the trip together. If you happen to miss any of the videos for the vacation, you can check out my playlist right there of the entire trip. And if you like these videos and happen to like my personality and want to see a little bit more of me, I also have a video right there of my favorite Caffeine Man moments in videos. So feel free to check out that compilation of videos. And until next time, have yourselves a great day. Or night.